Eroll. Spence has been ducking from day one. This whole time the truth was a lie.
You talking too much, man. You talking too much, bro. Okay, we taking them around. Ain't nobody talking from the side. Why you gotta talk? Ain't nobody talking from the side. Why you gotta talk?
Well, talk to me.
It don't matter.
Talk to him.
Tell your nigga to be quiet.
Talk to me. Don't
tell your
talk to
nigga to
him.
be quiet.
Talk to me.
Tell your nigga to be
Talk
quiet.
to me.
Tell your nigga to be quiet.
All right, now you talking to me.
Tell your nigga to be
Back
quiet.
to what we was talking about.
Whatever.
Try that body shot shit.
Come on, stop you.
That is the new episode of the Duck Chronicles. It's something you don't want to miss. For those that's not on Patreon, it gets released in 30 days, so just hang tight. All right, so I seen some video out here circling a Bomac getting knocked out by some Eroll Spence fans. And all I got to say is this, like I said before, at the end of the day, nobody's fighting Bomac. And this just goes to show you the level of desperation that they're willing to shed light on everything but a fight. Bomac's resume, or Bomac getting knocked out or getting beat up in the boxing ring, is totally irrelevant when it comes to Eroll Spence and Terrence Bud Crawford. I thought this was a battle of the fighters, not the battle of the trainers. Like I said before, even with Bomac getting knocked out, even with Bomac having that kind of resume, he still managed to produce one of the best fighters in boxing under that resume and getting knocked out. So what does that say at the end of the day? Bomac's resume has no effect on how Terrence Bud Crawford performs in the sport of boxing or how good he is. Okay? Well, it doesn't take away from how good he is. Like I said, these are nothing just distractions to keep your eye off the prize. The main thing we talk about is the fight. Nobody cares to go back and forth with you about Bomac and him getting knocked out or his resume. That's not a battle nobody wants to pick up. The battle people want to see is Eroll Spence versus Terrence Bud Crawford. But yet, Eroll Spence fanatics are relegated to this kind of behavior. And like I said, at this point, what is the point? We should be all pushing for the same thing. And that's an undisputed fight. And you know they don't want to give it to us. But see, it's antics like these and the reasons why they're now putting out about fighting Canelo Alvarez. Because they know you overzealous Eroll Spence fans will pick up the ball and get it rolling in the other direction. Anything to take attention off these two guys fighting at the end of the day. And that's the pathetic part. And the thing is, I don't see Eroll Spence fans stooping this low or doing all this ridiculous shit. They just want to see a fight. You guys are caught in your feelings. Okay? And we know that you'll attack man, woman, and child when it comes to fanboying for some of these boxers out here. And at the end of the day, it's totally unnecessary. The question is, do you want the fight? And if you want the fight, then maybe you need to act like it. But making fun of Bomac and making videos about Bomac, what does that prove? What are you trying to say? How about this? Yeah, Bomac has a shitty resume. Yes, Bomac got knocked out in the ring. Now, how does that help? What does that add or what does that take away? And what is that supposed to add and what is that supposed to take away? What are we supposed to get from that? Where is this going? What is the point of bringing all this up and talking about this now? You guys could have talked about Bomac years ago. Why are you talking about him now? For the same reason y'all talk about Terrence Crawford steroids now. Why are y'all talking about it now? The same thing I got to say with Tom Brown and them over there at PBC. Why y'all want to talk about the 55 million now? Why now? Why all this now? Okay? We need to be talking about a fight. Not no Canelo Alvarez 55 million. Not no Bomac resume and him getting knocked out. Not no Terrence Crawford's on PEDs working with Snap. These ain't the conversations we're supposed to have. This close to the fight and this what we're talking about, something is seriously wrong. Something is very seriously wrong at the end of the day. So I think it's not just the big heads and the suits that don't want this fight. It's also you Errol Spence fanatics. Y'all obviously don't want the fight because everything y'all talking about is irrelevant to the fight. Y'all should be pushing for the fight. Be hyped for the fight. Not sitting up here racking on Bomac and his weight, calling him the Hamburglar and all this other stuff. That's 5th grade shit. What about this undisputed fight? Fuck Derrick James. Fuck Bomac. What about Terrence Bud Crawford and Errol Spence? That's where we're at. That's where the conversation should be at. That's what you should be making videos about. Not nobody's trainer. Don't make no sense. What the hell we gonna get from talking about Bomac? Or clowning Bomac, or making fun of Bomac? That's just it. That's all you is. It's trying to make fun of Bomac. But what does that have to do with the price of tea in China? Not a goddamn thing, because it doesn't buy you a cup of water. So what's up with this fight? That's all anybody should be talking about at the end of the day. No resume. See, this is the thing. They can't talk about promotional companies across the street no more. Notice when all this other stuff came up is when they couldn't talk about the shit that they always talked about. Notice they can't talk about that no more. Notice they can't talk about percentages no more. Notice they can't talk about he needs a 3rd belt no more. All that shit is out the way. So now that all that shit is out the way, their new talking points is Terrence Bud Crawford, Snack and Victor Conti, Bomac and his horrible resume and getting knocked out in the ring. Once again, more goalposts moving, but you're moving into a goalpost that doesn't even exist or hold no bearing on the situation. So what's the point? So what we talking about? What we doing here? What we doing here? That's the only conversation that should be had in boxing. Why even waste your time talking about somebody who's not stepping inside the ring? Why even do it? Because at the end of this day, just like the big suits, Errol Spence fanatics don't want this fight either. You guys would be totally happy with him skipping over Terrence Bud Crawford. Come on, tell Bruce the truth. Tell me the truth. Tell us all the truth. Come on, be honest. You don't want this fight. Just say you don't want it. Because I can tell by what you latch on to and your talking points, you don't want this fight. Okay, so we just don't have the suits against us. We got the fanboys against us. And the fanboys is what the suits use to keep doing their bullshit, which is why we're in a state of boxing that we're in right now by not getting the fights, because they hide behind you fanboys because they know you guys will march and hold down the line for them no matter what bullshit they do. When if we was on the same accord, nobody can duck or dodge us when it comes to the boxing fans and the fights that they want. But they know that you so divided. They know that you so much of a fanboy. You're so much fans of man that they can put out this bullshit and you guys are going to run with it. So I guess the big talking point now is Errol Spence and Canelo Alvarez fight, right? When you should be talking about Terrence Bud Crawford. Let Canelo go do what he does. He's been doing what he does. He doesn't need y'all. Okay? Canelo has figured out his formula a long time ago. He can do what he's doing with Eastern Europeans. That's what he's been doing. Okay? If they didn't have no Eastern Europeans, then maybe you have Canelo in a tight spot. But since you don't have Canelo in no tight spot, he'll keep going on and knock out the Caleb Plants of the world. You know what I'm saying? The Rocky Fieldings of the world and everybody and whatnot. His fan base is not going to mind. He's good. This is why PBC can't bait Canelo Alvarez. But that's not the conversation that we should be having. And you shouldn't want Errol Spence to go up damn near 3 weight classes to do it. Because like we always talk about Canelo Alvarez, that's some cherry picking shit. You think Errol Spence can win going up almost 3 weight divisions? And then I guess Errol Spence is supposed to come back down and fight Terrence Bud Crawford, even though he's been squeezed into 147 since he got in that division. He's been fighting out of his weight class since he started boxing. We all know this. Him and Jared Hurd been fighting out of their weight class since they started boxing. All right, and you think he's going to return back to that after he unloosens his belt and go up 2.5 weight classes? Hell no, he ain't come back down to fight no fucking Terrence Bud Crawford. You guys is crazy. And going up in weight and coming down in weight has never shown good results in boxing. Most guys lose when they go up in weight and come back down in weight. History shows. So at the end of the day, what do y'all want to do, man? Do y'all want this fight or not? Okay? Never mind. That's a rhetorical question. I already know what you want. But at the end of the day, this is what boxing fans is pushing for. And if you guys help them cloak and hide this fight and push this fight up under the rug, then you are the big reason why the sport will never change. Because it's hard changing these big suits and all the shit that they want to do. But at the end of the day, fighting a fanboy brigade, you know what I'm saying, is 10 times tougher. And at the end of the day, this is why people walk away from the sport. And this is how boxers lose fans. Because at the end of the day, they don't fucking deliver. And you fanboys is the reason for this shit that's going on right now. Because all the big suits are depending on your childish nature to help cover up all their fuckery so they can keep force feeding us garbage. Them is all facts, man. That's all I got for now. I'm out.